All right, guys, welcome back to the Pocket Mads channel. It's Maddie here. Today we have a deck showcase, the second new deck from, of course, the Fantastical Parade metagame this new season that we're going to be highlighting on the channel. This time it's Mimikyu EX, which I think is honestly the most underrated card in the entire expansion of Fantastical Parade. I think this is a very good card, a very flexible card, and something that I think a lot of people sort of, wrote off a little bit. Maybe not everybody. I certainly did, and I thought this card would be kind of broken. We're going to be highlighting a deck that has been featured in online tournaments and has been performing well, specifically, and I don't know if who actually created this deck list, but the deck list that I'm going to be referencing is from Numitanale. He's been playing this on a couple of online tournaments, done very well. He's one of the top online players, and I really like the deck, so I wanted to highlight it. That's what we're going to do today. This deck list here plays one Giratina EX, double Mimikyu EX, and then a 2/2 Froakie, Water Shuriken, Greninja lineup. And I know what you guys are thinking, oh, it's a Greninja deck. It is, yeah, because I think most decks in the game right now are all better with Greninja. Water Shuriken, I'm not going to lie. Double Pokeball, double Copycat, double Research, double Cyrus, all standard Greninja type stuff. Double Rare Candy, double Rocky Helmet. And this is an interesting one. I do think Rocky Helmet is still, and I mean this, it's still the best damage modification card in the game. It just is. Now, some people might reference in the comments that Rocky Helmet doesn't actually work for the first time Mimikyu gets hit, because if Mimikyu takes an attack, it doesn't take any damage with the disguise attack until you hit it again. So the first time Mimikyu takes an attack, that Rocky Helmet's not going to proc. But I think that Rocky Helmet is still the best card to play when it comes to adding additional damage. The whole concept of this deck is to either force your opponent through a Giratina EX and a Mimikyu EX, or both Mimikyu EXs with the Greninja Water Shuriken damage with the ability to target bench Pokemon. And a Lucky Ice Pop is thrown in here. I think this is mostly used for Giratina. In my experience testing the deck list, there are some times where you don't want to KO yourself, so Lucky Ice Pop is just a good card to throw in here. It's kind of a broken card. It's in a lot of decks this season. So a very simple deck list, to be honest. A very simple deck. Some people have noticed like Giratina Darkrai making a little bit of a comeback, but honestly, this is one of my favorite archetypes in the game, and I think it's a deck that's sort of centered around Mimikyu, which is really fun. A couple of ways that you can play Mimikyu. I've seen it with Gardevoir, I've seen it with Lunala EX, a bunch of different ways, but this is straight from Numitanale. That's where I pulled this from, so shout out to him, shout out to Frog EX, and this deck list is really awesome, so I wanted to recommend it. Again, a lot of new stuff that's come out in Fantastical Parade. We'll see sort of what ends up really solidifying itself in the metagame. I know that Kangaskhan is very popular. I was going to make a Kangaskhan video, but I think that the most common Kangaskhan decks are in fact like Greninja or a Choreo deck, so we'll have to see how Kangaskhan develops. So for right now, we're going to be highlighting this deck in today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and also don't forget to register for PMPT number 19, our weekly tournament series. It is this Saturday at noontime, which I believe is the 7th, I think, February 7th. I might be wrong about that. I don't know my dates, but anyway, link to register down in the description below. We're going to go ahead and hop on the emblem event, because that's what's going on right now. The game did update, so now there's like this new feature here that allows you to kind of it'll double check if you have the correct energy selected. So they have updated the game. Some people talked about the energy selection stuff, so that's pretty cool. We are currently at the silver tier of the emblem event, so I definitely maybe in this video, who knows, we can get to that gold emblem. But yeah, I mean, the emblem events, they're kind of fun. They're just something to kind of hold us over until ranked comes out. We are 6 days away from the ranked season, so hopefully the metagame after this weekend sort of begins to fully unravel and we get an understanding of what, kind of the best things to play for ranked are. I do think there's a lot of really interesting inclusions. So the diversity in Pokemon Pocket for meta decks is really absolutely explosive. Sure, you're still going to have the top, 4 or 5 decks or whatever, but all of the decks like below that, there's like 30 different decks that you could theoretically play in a competitive sense, which is pretty cool. Okay, all right, right off the bat, leading Froakie going first. So, about as bad of a situation as we could possibly be in here. And it looks like we're going up against potentially like an Umbreon deck, which is kind of scary, considering that, our attackers are basic Pokemon, but that's beside the point. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to attach this Rocky Helmet, and I'm going to just turn one Copycat, because I don't really love my hand. We do have Research, another Copycat in Greninja. I'll just Rocky Helmet the Froakie, get it out of my hand. We have 2 in the deck, and we'll Copycat for 4 new cards here. We do see a second Froakie and a second Rocky Helmet. Okay, I'm going to just bench that, and it's fine. We're going first, so the only real card we want going first is Giratina, so that we can get that Broken Space Bellow. Only one Giratina in the deck, so it is definitely, I would say, like a backup strategy. In my experience playing this deck, I think Mimikyu's a really awesome leadoff Pokemon, as well as Giratina. I think that those are 2 Pokemon you would rather have in the active than a Froakie, of course. If you go second, leading Mimikyu is actually kind of broken because you can kind of guarantee, that is if you go second, you can guarantee to get like at least 2 attacks off, which is 140 damage. It's actually an incredible leadoff Pokemon. He's going to attach and then just sort of pass his turn, which honestly is like respectable. Before we attach energies here, we're probably just going to copycat again. He's got 5 cards in hand. I'm expecting the Umbreon to come out, so I don't even want to probably commit the energies this turn. I forget how much damage Umbreon does, but I'm kind of fine letting the Froakie go down, and I'm not going to commit that Rocky Helmet yet. I'm actually just going to keep it in the deck, because I would like to have that maybe on a Giratina or a Mimikyu later in the game. He's also playing Greninja, so this could be like a Greninja Umbreon type deck. Umbreon's going to be a really bad matchup for us, quite frankly. Lots of cards here. Double Pokeball, so we are going to find our Mimikyus and our Giratinas and whatnot, which is fine. Hopefully Giratina. We could just pull double Mimikyu, which maybe would be less ideal, in fact. And we get Giratina and Mimikyu. Okay, we also have Rare Candy Greninja. I think the smartest play here, quite frankly, is probably just going to be to like let this Froakie go down in a way that doesn't feel great, honestly. But I think what we're going to do here is Rare Candy the bench Froakie and start to get some damage down. We don't have a Cyrus in play, but I would like to potentially KO that Froakie before it evolves, right? Because that's going to bring some issues. I'm going to attach to Mimikyu here because I think we're just going to get attacked. I'm going to attach to Mimikyu. I'm going to Broken Space Bella with Giratina, and I am actually just going to target the Froakie. I don't remember how much HP Umbreon has, but I think it's 90 potentially. So I'm just going to target the Froakie here because the Rocky Helmet should help us out with Froakie in the active if he does evolve Umbreon. It could be Umbreon EX though, which is a whole other can of worms to deal with for sure. Let's see if he has it. He very well could, but he also could have evolved it last turn as well. So he's got the Greninja down, and if he also has Umbreon, that's going to be really difficult for us because this is a matchup that I think is very well designed to beat our deck specifically. All our Pokemon are weak to Dark, and he has Greninja out, and also, of course, we're basic Pokemon. But if it's Umbreon EX, then the basic Pokemon stuff doesn't matter. So let's just see what happens here. He does target the Mimikyu, which honestly is like totally fine. I really don't even mind that at all, which is pretty funny. I'm going to go ahead now and target the Eevee. And then here's the question, right? Because if he doesn't attack, if he doesn't have Umbreon, we would like to be able to KO this. So we have a couple of options here. Honestly, I think what we have to do is commit one to the Froakie this turn, just in case. We are kind of pressured to do that, which is unfortunate. I'm just going to go ahead and Broken Space Bella, but I'm going to keep the Froakie in the active. So Mimikyu just took damage from Greninja, but if they Cyrus it up, it actually still doesn't take any damage because the disguise doesn't get popped. I have double Cyrus in the deck. So doing this so I can retreat next turn, possibly KO with Mimikyu, I think we're forced into that play. And I'm just going to Broken Space Bellow here. If he KOs the Froakie, it is what it is. We can go into Mimikyu potentially for a turn, but then we're likely going to get Cyrused back up because it already has damage. So that's the scary part here, is that if we ever do bring up Mimikyu, it can only, we don't want to take damage once with Mimikyu at this point because it'll get Cyrus back up. That is if Froakie gets KO'd. We don't know what he's got on his board, so we'll see what he does here. Mimikyu should be safe from getting KO'd. He's going to target the Giratina now. If we see the Umbreon, he can bring this up and attack us. That obviously would not be ideal, but we could also just retreat into Mimikyu, which also wouldn't feel great. So we'll just see. He might not have Umbreon this turn, which would be really ideal. He's going to Cyrus. So, okay, so he's going to want to, he wants to bring up Giratina here just to kind of remove it from being an issue. Let's see if he has Umbreon. He doesn't. Okay, so that's fine. I really don't care at all about this taking damage. I'm not going to lie. I don't care at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and Lucky Ice Pop. And I'm just going to try to heal up some damage here from Giratina, see if I can get it back, which would be nice. We do, which is really good. So now we can kind of retreat. He's going to concede, yeah. Okay, so he got unlucky, didn't get Umbreon there. That should be a really bad matchup for us. But he was also in a tough position. We went first and led Froakie, which is like the worst case scenario for our deck list. But, if he's not going to KO the Froakie, he's not going to want to KO the Giratina, and he also has to attack Mimikyu twice, right? So I think that either way, we probably would have been able to pull out a win there. But going first, leading Froakie, just like every Greninja deck, is the worst case scenario, right? So worked out pretty well for us there. You'd be surprised how quickly we could move through this deck with just 2 Copycat, 2 Research. It really is kind of the new core draw engine in Pokemon Pocket. If you're playing a deck that has double Pokeball, double Research, double Copycat, you always every turn are kind of pulling cards out of your deck, and there's definitely scenarios where you can move through your deck very quickly. This is certainly one of those. We're going first again. Again, we do have Giratina. What do we lead with here? We're leading Froakie again. Okay. So quite unlucky. Is this the same opponent? In fact, we might be playing the same opponent with the exact same starting hand. Our hand is horrible, by the way. Okay, no. I guess this is Guzzlord. Also a really tough matchup, I would imagine. Yeah, our hand is horrible too. Wow. All right. Well, we've yet to really showcase this deck in scenarios where you want to be in. But I guess if we're playing against Guzzlord, like I wonder, he's going second. So if he has that Guzzlord, it's gonna be a little scary. We get red carded, which is cool actually. I don't really mind it. We're -1 cards, but Cyrus, Pokeball. All right, if we top deck a Copycat, we'll be all right. He's gonna Poison Barb the Celesteela, so this is probably Poison Guzzlord, but he attaches to Celesteela, which is really important, which means he doesn't get the turn 1 attachment onto a Guzzlord, which is really good for us. Double Pokeball, so no draw supporter this turn, but we do have double Cyrus in hand, which is always fun. Giratina is really good, and we would like to see a Mimikyu here, I believe. So let's see what we got. All right, we got Giratina and we got Mimikyu. This is the Rainbow Mimikyu, by the way. What an incredible card. We're not pressured to attach to the active yet this turn. Look at this card. I love this art. He's just hiding there behind the wall. I'm going to commit one to Mimikyu, and then I'm going to Broken Space Bellow. Again, he can't attack me next turn, so I'm not really worried. Any energy he attaches to Celesteela, realistically, isn't that big of a deal, because it's not a big threat to us, quite frankly. Mimikyu's Disguise plus like the Moonbaton coin flip means that like we can go into Mimikyu and probably be safe for like, on average, I think 3 to 4 turns of this Celesteela. So I think we're all right. The Copycat's really nice. Definitely going to play that. Maybe we draw into a Greninja and a rare candy here. We're going to get 4 new cards. The odds are fairly high. There's Greninja, another Copycat, Research, and another Research. Okay, that's fine. So we can't attack this turn, but I don't really care. We're going to use Mimikyu as a shield here. We're just going to let him hang out there. So it's a 50-50 coin flip for us to hit us. And he doesn't even 2 at KO us, or 3 at KO us, in fact, because of Disguise, right? So that's really good. So we're just in a safe position. We could get Sabrina, I suppose, which wouldn't be ideal. He's going to Team Rocket grunt us. Okay, fine. Mimikyu does have a retreat cost of 2. So that is kind of the scary part here. He does just land 4 coins on the grunt, which you got to love. Again, it doesn't really matter. Mimikyu's just going to be here to kind of tank hits. It's not a big deal. He does flip heads, though. So, I mean, good for him, quite honestly. We have no Cyrus in hand. We have Greninja. Let's probably research this turn. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to research. Okay. Let's get the research down. We'll just manually attach to Mimikyu. Greninja, Rare Candy, really good. And Lucky Ice Pop. So that's all good stuff. Hopefully he doesn't grunt us again. I don't want to get re-grunted here, but we can get this Greninja down, which is nice. And we have Cyrus in hand. So if he ever kind of does decide to bench a Guzzlord or something, we can get the first attack off onto it. Because we have to be careful about attaching to the KOing the Celesteela if a Guzzlord's on the bench. We would rather stall and not take a KO and allow him to Lucamine up a Guzzlord. That is certainly not what we want here. It's pretty likely that he's going to have something on the bench. Yeah, there it is. So we're definitely going to Cyrus that up and just hit it. There's no world where we don't do that. And Mimikyu's going to live a hit here regardless. The Disguise is broken, and we get Mars to 3. So let's hope we have Cyrus back off this Mars. Copycat, Greninja, Helmet. Okay. No Cyrus, which is actually quite unfortunate here. He flips heads yet again. We are playing potentially the greatest player of all time, in my estimation. This is kind of crazy. Okay, all right. This is tough. This is a tough one here. I'm going to Rocky Helmet the Mimikyu. No Cyrus off that Mars is brutal. Let's just Ice Pop the active, and we're going to Copycat out. Let's see if we get super lucky off this Ice Pop. Our opponent's flipping heads. No, okay, all right. My opponent gets like 12 heads in a row, and we can't, which is great. I don't want to attack because then we get poisoned, honestly, so I'm just going to commit energies to Mimikyu. We could retreat, but not really the most ideal scenario. We just kind of are banking on him flipping tails at least once. No other Froakie here, which is fine. Honestly, like I'm probably just going to keep Mimikyu in the active. We could go into a Greninja here. It actually might be a fine play because we can Broken Space Bellow. Do we go into Greninja? Nah, because we don't want it to get KO'd, but it can't get KO'd, right? So I think if we retreat, we kind of just guarantee that we can get a KO on Guzzlord and we'll be fine that way. And we'll keep Mimikyu here in the back. But then it goes to 0 energies, though. It's a 50-50 coin flip. I guess he could Grindcore. He could retreat and Grindcore us next turn, which we don't really want. So, but he's probably playing Cyrus. It's kind of a tricky situation, isn't it? Do we really let Mimikyu go down? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to leave Mimikyu in the active because it has a Rocky Helmet. And I definitely just don't want Greninja to get like smoked. So if he KOs us, it's whatever. If he goes into Guzzlord, he gets KO'd back, which is again fine. We can hit for 150. Plus we got Rocky helmets, so that's sort of the game plan. He might bank on us not having Cyrus. Yeah, he's gonna flip the coin for the three. If he gets heads 3 in a row, this man went 3 in a row with Celesteela. He's built different. I don't care. I really don't. I'm just going to KO him with, I'm going to KO Guzzlord with Giratina and then hope that he just can't rebound. Now, there is a possibility that he goes second Guzzlord Lucamines and then grindcores us, but for the most part, I think we should be in a fine position still. I don't know. This is crazy. Our opponent's the luckiest player of all time. We do have this Mimikyu, which I probably will bench, but yeah, let's bring up the Guzzlord. We are going to take the poison damage. It is what it is. Because this is the primary threat here. Now, the question is, who do I want to attach the energy to? And by that, I mean, like, we have to keep in mind, like, another Guzzlord in a Grindcore play or getting Sabrinaed. I honestly don't really see the benefit of benching the Mimikyu because it has a retreat cost of 2. So if we got Sabrinaed, we'd probably go back into Greninja. And at the end of the day, if we bench Mimikyu, we'd have to attach to it, which makes us less or a little bit more susceptible to getting Grindcored. So I don't think I'm going to bench Mimikyu. I'm just going to attach to Giratina, and I'm just going to attack. That's my strategy. We have another Cyrus with 3 cards in the deck, so that's a possibility. The other cards in our deck are Froakie. What are they? It's Froakie, Cyrus, and something. I don't know what it is, actually. What is it? What is the other card? It's not Rocky Helmet. Is it a... I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, Celesteela comes down. We can 1-hit KO Celesteelas. Oh, I forgot the poison damage, but... There's no way. We're going to get... Oh, he flipped tails with Grind. Okay. So he does 100 if he flips heads, but we're only taking 10 poison. We're not taking 20. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. And in fact, it would have ended in a tie, I think. We would have KO'd ourselves if he flipped heads. So he could have forced the tie, which is funny. I kind of didn't think about that. It would have been smarter to bench Mimikyu and attach, I think. And then if that did work out that way, we could have at least maybe KO'd and not like gone to a tie, but he's just going to concede anyway. So, all right, a couple of games in a row of like literally worst case scenario into like really bad matchups, and we just kind of pull out the win because I think this deck's broken. But let's run it back. Let's keep doing it. Again, guys, a very simple deck list here. This is a super simple deck, very straightforward, but just fun. It's just a good deck, and I think that Mimikyu is a great partner for Giratina. It really is, and I think that you can just slap Greninja and whatever. So I think that does make the deck a bit better. And yeah. That's kind of how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling about this deck. I think that Numa Tenale was kind of cooking here. You know, very simple. Probably has decent matchups across the board. There's definitely some things that are going to be really tough. Oricorio is, you know, one example of that, probably. We're leading Froakie again and going first again. So this is 3 games in a row into a Zero Aura lead. 3 games in a row, Froakie lead going first. That's where we're at right now. That is, in fact, what's happening. You hate to see it. And we're going to Pokeball for another Froakie. Wow. I think this game is, I don't know what's going on. This is what happens when we record and we go live. You know, the game just does not want us to do well. Sorry for the sneeze. No edits, keeping it in. He's going to Serena, probably playing like Kangaskhan, I would imagine. If you're seeing a lightning type deck like this, probably Kangaskhan. We know what this meta is these days. This is interesting, though. This does open up a win condition. He's actually just going to straight up attach. Well, I guess, yeah, because he's got Zero Aura in the active. So this is a really bad spot for us, like, no matter how you slice it, because, you know, okay, the Pokeball is a bit of a saving grace here. If this is Giratina or Mimikyu, that's good. But we would rather... All right, that's fine. That's actually fine. So he's going to take Rocky Helmet damage. We can come in, KO with Mimikyu. It's not everything we need, but it's like a piece to the puzzle, right? So... if he attaches to Zero Aura KOs, you know, it is what it is. Like, that's the end of the day. It is what it is. Unfortunately, Mimikyu will... it's really awkward because Kangaskhan attacks us twice. So the first time he hits us, we're immune, but we will take the 40 damage. Not that it really matters, because he does 120 just baseline, so he'll KO us on the second turn regardless. So we're going to get 2 attacks off with Mimikyu, but it's not going to be enough to KO a Kangaskhan. Which means we kind of do want... Why did we have to go first and lead Froakie into a Zero Aura lead? It's crazy. These have been literally the worst case scenarios for us, but let's see. Maybe we can pull it out for like the 3rd game in a row. Sometimes Pokemon Pocket wants you to lose. You know, that's how it goes here. That's the reality of it. The Pichu comes down. Now, I don't know why he wouldn't attach to... I don't know why he wouldn't attach to Zero Aura and KO. I got to assume he would. And Oricorio comes down, so that's a whole other can of worms that we don't want to deal with. We do have our Candy at hand and Cyrus, which does open up some possibilities. Like if we top deck a Greninja, we can actually start to put pressure on this Kangaskhan, and that could be a win condition as well, which is pretty cool. He's going to take Rocky Helmet damage, so he might not even attack. That'd be a weird play, but if he hits us, Mimikyu does KO, and then he's still 2 turns away from attacking with Kangaskhan. But I still think that's his best play. I honestly don't know how we get out of this other than a Greninja top deck, because we really need to Greninja Cyrus this Kangaskhan like right now. That's the only way I think we can win. Honestly, I'm just trying to think. Like I don't know what else is even possible. Even then, I don't know if we have it. Yeah, the Rocky Helmet top deck's not super helpful. I think we're cooked here. 0 draw support cards either. Like we've drawn literally nothing. Like I think the game's kind of given us the old pat on the back, like, hey, you know, it might be time to hang it up. So we can tank a hit with Kangaskhan. Actually, we're gonna get 2 attacks off regardless. So if we can draw into like another Mimikyu or potentially a Giratina, we could hope for a no Cyrus type play. It depends. The Pichu acceleration onto the Kangaskhan is not actually gonna matter. It actually won't matter because you can just do it on the next turn. But Oricorio is definitely a factor here. Fortunately, if we do get Greninja, if we do find it, we're going to be able to move around this Oricorio. So it's really not much of a problem. He's actually just going to go into Oricorio, which I don't hate. But the Mimikyu really is a bit of a stall in the active. Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and attach to it. I kind of have to assume here. And if I was just assuming, I would assume that he has like Cyrus available here. Only 7 cards in deck for him. So, all right. Yeah, I think we're cooked. I don't think we have what we need. Like we have 9 cards in deck. So, 0 copycats, 0 researches so far this game. Double Greninjas in our deck. I mean, we have Lucky Ice Pop. It's not looking good at all. It's not. I think that was maybe a turn where we needed something. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it out now. I guess we'll try. We're going to take 50 here, so maybe we can Ice Pop around it. It's not looking great. So we don't take any damage, but the disguise does get broken. Kangaskhan can one-shot us now. We do get Greninja, which is something. It's not enough, but it is something. Which is crazy. All right, so I'm trying to think here. Like, I don't know. I think we just got to bring up the Kang. We could target the Pichu, but 90? I mean, it is 90 damage. Like, so if he doesn't heal and we top deck a second Cyrus, like we can win. I think this is like actually our win condition. It's just drawing the second Cyrus here. But he can't. I mean, he's stuck in the active now. Unless he might have electrical switch or elemental switch, which would not be ideal. But we do KO this Kangaskhan next turn. So if he doesn't have healing, if he doesn't have whatever, like we can just KO him. So let's see here. Does he have E-switch? He does. All right. There wasn't any other play for us there, quite frankly. It took too long for us to draw what we needed. But hey, respect. Mimikyu perfectly, unfortunately, has 120 HP. He does take double Rocky Helmet damage, but just a little bit too much. That was like worst case scenario for us yet again. Froakie lead going first. No Giratina, no draw support. Just a little bit too short there. Giratina would have been super nice. If we drawn the Greninja earlier, we could have gotten the attack earlier. You know, he happened to have E-switch in hand. I don't know. I don't know what else we could have done to win that game. If I'm being honest with you there, but what can you do? You know, that's a tough one. I do like Kangaskhan. I do think that our deck should have a really good matchup into those types of decks because, you know, we have Greninja Cyrus ping. Like, so if we have a Giratina at any point, like we can kind of just attack and then live a hit. You know, that's typically how that'll go. But anyway, 3 very unfortunate games in a row, but we are 2-1. This is a very strong deck. ASKDKFDJK or whatever his name is who we're playing. Good luck to him. I wish him the best. I hope he loses to us. What is going on? We're going first for the 4th game in a row. And we are leading Froakie for the 4th game in a row. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know the probability of that, quite frankly. It looks like we're playing Gardevoir. Or rather, playing against Gardevoir. How are we going first leading Froakie for this many games in a row? It really is. It's pretty crazy. Can we get a Giratina? We do actually get Giratina. We do find it, which is crazy. Anyway. So we're now doing things, technically. So, I mean, it's not ideal. He's just going to draw a bunch of cards with Meloetta. Giratina should have a good matchup, though. Like I like our matchup into Gardevoir. Like theoretically speaking, like Gardevoir is never going to want to KO anything, especially Mimikyu. Like so Mimikyu can get a bunch of attacks off. I don't mind our situation, but we'll see how it goes. He's actually going to attach to Meloetta, which is broken or kind of unfortunate for him. Let's go ahead research. Do we really want to Rocky Helmet the active is the question. Nothing off the research, but other draw supports, which is pretty funny. I guess this is like, what do we do here? He can't KO the active. So if we Rocky Helmet, I'll just do it. We have another helmet in the deck. We're going to helmet the active. I'm going to attach one to the active. And then I'm going to Broken Space Bellow. And there we go. Nothing going on much for either our opponents. The Strange Shinging does pop off. And let's see. I am expecting some Pokemon to come on the bench here. But we do have Cyrus and Greninja in hand. So there's a possibility of us kind of getting somewhere here eventually. He commits another energy to Meloetta. So now still 2 turns away from attacking with a Gardevoir, which is kind of crazy. We'll take the Psy Shot. It's all good. No big deal there. So now let's see. We do get the rare candy. Okay. All right. We have to think about this because we can't attack with anything this turn. I think, honestly, I'm going to Copycat for sure. He's got like 20 cards in hand. So I think what we want here is to retreat out of Froakie, try to keep it alive, and then go into like a Mimikyu. Yeah, that's ideal. Wow, I forgot. Okay, that's a lot of cards. So yeah, I'm going to do this. If he has Cyrus, I don't care. But anyway, let's attach to Mimikyu here. And I'm just going to retreat into it because we have Disguise. So even if Meloetta pops the Disguise, I really don't care. Honestly, this gives us another turn of Broken Space Bellow. The damage now can all go on to Ralts here. And then if he doesn't evolve, we KO it. Even if he does evolve, we have double Cyrus in hand. So we're just going to put that pressure on. And Gardevoir doesn't do 120, does 110 very conveniently. So unless he's got some damage buffing going on for him, we're going to be all right. Copycat really good into Meloetta. We're +4 card advantage. We have Rare Candy in the deck and a Pokeball in the deck and a Lucky Ice Pop in the deck and what else? I don't know. Rare Candy. Did I already say that? Yeah, anyway. Mewtwo comes down and he's going to Mars us, which is fine. Not worried about the Mars play. Greninja, Giratina will want to kill the Mewtwo. In fact, that is effectively just a win condition that he gave us, which is fine. Drew us into another Copycat. And yeah, okay. So we're in a very good spot here. If we top deck Cyrus, I will KO the Kirlia. All right, no Cyrus. So yeah, I mean, I think we always kind of win this here. I don't really know what he does. Let's attach here. I am just going to Copycat because he's got 6 cards in hand. It's always better to Copycat just to see 6 brand new cards. Let's see. We want Cyrus. Lucky Ice Pop's fine. Greninja, Rare Candy would be good. Double Cyrus. Mimikyu, okay. Rocky Helmet, good. All right. All good stuff. All good things. So we KO the Meloetta. We're going to tank a hit. Doesn't even matter if we do or not, but we'll tank a hit from the Gardevoir, and then we'll just finish the game by Cyrusing up Mewtwo. He's already played Mars, so I assume he doesn't have another Hand Disruption card, but even if he does, guys, like we have double Cyrus and a total of 7 cards, right? So we only took 1 point. I think we're at a good spot. The issue with Mewtwo and Gardevoir is that you're opening yourself up to the 1-2 prize math win condition for your opponent. And Mewtwo has 150, but it's really not that hard to hit for 150, especially when you're going to be taking the Greninja ping. Doesn't really work that way. Here comes the Gardevoir. Here it comes. And no Hand Disruption yet. He is going to play the Research. Maybe he red cards us, but he's not even going to KO Mimikyu. Oh, Potion on the Gardevoir. Okay. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. Does he have a giant cape or something? He doesn't. All right, GG. This is definitely a good matchup for us. Very good matchup for us. We could even just hit into the Gardevoir and we wouldn't lose. I guess then he could go into Mewtwo, which would be tough. But I mean, like, the fact that Gardevoir can't want to kill Mimikyu is crazy. All right, let's BM our opponent here real quick. Always BM if you get the opportunity to. That means we're evolving our second. And we're also playing Lucky Ice Pop. That's right, guys. We're fully BMing here. We're gonna heal the full with Mimikyu. Never mind. All right. It would have been funny though. Anyway, let's retreat and go into Giratina, and we'll Cyrus up the Mewtwo. All right. We could BM even more with double pinging. It would be pretty funny if we did that. But hey, I like Gardevoir. It's got some really good matchups, some really bad matchups as well. Very volatile card, but I like our deck. I just think that inherently, like Mimikyu Greninja is just really good. It's going to be enough, especially going second if you are able to lead Mimikyu. Again, in this video, we've exclusively gone first and led Froakie. I will play one more game just to hopefully maybe have the opportunity not to have Froakie in the active. But we're, what is that, 3-1 going first, leading Froakie? So if that tells you anything, you know, this deck is probably pretty decent. Shout out to Numa Tenale. And again, I don't know who made the deck. I don't know really where it came from. And Numa is just sort of the example that I pulled from, like that I found this deck from. And again, he's placed in like top 16s, top 8s at various tournaments. So very impressive runs for him. And I really do like the deck. I think Mimikyu's broken. I really do. I think Mimikyu's just an extremely high quality deck list or a card. And I think it can be played in a lot of different decks. So that's how I'm feeling. I think Kangaskhan is good. I haven't found like a great home for it yet, I don't think. But Mimikyu is just really good. So I think we're going to see Mimikyu. We are going second, so that's a big difference now. Still leading Froakie. 5 games in a row with the Froakie lead, as if we're not playing double Mimikyu and Giratina. But what can you do? At least we have Copycat, Froakie, Pokeball. We have a good hand, all things considered. And the Torchic, we're playing Blaziken, which actually I'm trying to think is, probably a fine matchup. Because like status conditions and Greninja pings, like none of it matters with Mimikyu. You're always just tanking a hit regardless. We can hit him for 30 in the active, which is pretty funny. Let's bench this. Let's Pokeball. And we're definitely going to copycat here. It is Mimikyu. All right, awesome. So let's bench this. I think the board state you typically want is 1 Mimikyu, 1 Giratina, double Froakie. At least that's just sort of what I've been going with most games. We can hit him in the active for 30. If he rare candies, it puts us in an odd position. But let's see what we get here off the copycat. So Giratina, rare candy, Greninja, Pokeball. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Like, we're going to have to attach to the active anyway to retreat. So I think the play here is to just go ahead and attack. Do we want to go? I think it might be better to go. I'm trying to think. Would it be better to go Giratina here or Mimikyu? Double Mimikyu is interesting. I think Giratina probably more so. Just because technically it can live a hit from Giratina, which is definitely a difference. So we're not going to Broken Space Bellow, but we are just going to flop him in the face. Because, if he doesn't have evolution, like, we do kind of just get the ability to KO him. And I think that's definitely a good enough reason for me. And if he goes Rare Candy Evolves, like, we can just attach Mimikyu, retreat, and then Broken Space Bellow or whatever. Anyway, let's see. Actually, it might even be better to just attach, because Mimikyu's safe for 2 turns. And I think it's enough damage, because like Mimikyu, if you bring it in, you're guaranteed 140 damage. Like I know the attack doesn't seem a lot, but you're guaranteed 2 attacks most times. So it's like, instead of 70, it really is just 140, which is broken. And it buys you an additional turn, which is really good when you're playing Greninja Cyrus, quite frankly. He benches the Torchic and passes. This is an interesting development here. Wow. Okay. Wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Let's go ahead and just KO the active and then get some bench damage on the Torchic, and then we'll start to set up the Mimikyu. And I think that's the only thing I can really think of here. We could even Lucky Ice Pop the active, so maybe we don't get smoked by a Kangaskhan here, but I don't know if it's even worth it to do that. I'm going to attach to Mimikyu, so let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to ping this Torchic, get some damage down onto it. He's probably playing 1 Lily. He did May, so he either whiffed the May or whiffed Rare Candy or something. I'm just going to play the Ice Pop and then Copycat, actually, because it might come back into my hand, which is cool. Doesn't. Bad coin flip luck for us today. Luckily, our deck doesn't flip a bunch of coins. We're going to go +3 card advantage here off the Copycat. See 5 fresh cards, hopefully. Potentially another Greninja Rare Candy, which would be crazy. Rocky Helmet's always good. Yeah, all right. Oh, all right. We do get the Greninja. And if we attack, we KO, which is good. So I'm going to Rocky Helmet the active. We get Mimikyu there on the back line. Like I said, it's going to live 2 attacks regardless, which is always a good thing. So if this Froakie goes down, it's not the end of the world. I do think double Mimikyu, double Greninjas should be able to take down a Blaziken with Rocky Helmet. I think. My math might be wrong. Even with Lily, maybe we're wrong. I don't know. In fact, I haven't really done all the numbers. So if that is the case, then we can just sort of go into Giratina, Bellow for a turn, and maybe win that way. Here comes the Blaziken. Here it comes. If he attacks, he takes Rocky Helmet damage. He's at 190 now. I guess Lily probably will win him the game, won't it? I guess it will. He's got the Rare Candy Blaziken and the Flame Patch, so he's kind of got everything he needs here. We do have a rare candy and a Greninja left in our deck. We could have gone into Mimikyu this turn and just like tanked a hit, but then we just never really had the opportunity to Broken Space Bellow per se. So we're gonna do it this way, and he might just have Lily, and if he does, then we probably just lose, honestly, because we don't play any hand disruption, and I don't think we've done enough math here to win the game. So a single Blaziken with Lily like might do it for him. I haven't really, like I said, I didn't crunch the numbers here, but we can bench the Mimikyu, which will buy us technically another turn. So Giratina is never really going to come into play this turn, which is fine. He is actually going to be able to Cyrus this back up now that I think about it, but he can't Cyrus and Lily in the same turn. So that's a benefit of our deck here. The Rocky Helmet's going to be nice. Not that it really matters, actually. I'll just attach it to the active because the first attack on Mimikyu doesn't matter. We might lose this game. Like, I think if he has Lily with 10 cards in deck, if he has Lily, then we're smoked. Like, we're just going to lose. But, I mean, we could just retreat into Mimikyu. Like, maybe not. Of course he has Lily. Why wouldn't he? Okay. I think we lose now. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, the issue with Mimikyu is that it gets KO'd, right? So, I'm trying to think of, like, what the best play is. I don't know if we have time to go into Giratina, do we? We don't. Like, that's the problem, I think, here. Is that we're like a turn behind on the energies, and we're never going to be... We can go into Giratina, live a hit, but I just don't think that works for us. We might be able to use it as a pivot, though. Maybe? But if we have Cyrus, we're cooked. we're absolutely cooked. So let's do this. We have to just do this, though, which feels really bad. There's literally nothing else we can do because of the Lily. He had Rare Candy, Blaziken, Lily, and Flame Patch all in that hand, which is tough. So we're going to use Giratina as like a pivot, but we lose to Cyrus. There's no way around that. So if he has every card he needs to, it is what it is. He's going to red card us. That card doesn't matter. Red card doesn't matter. None of these cards are useful anymore. We're trying to win off the board state. Cyrus. Is he going to BM me? He doesn't BM me, which is cool. So shout out to him, I guess. All right, we're getting there. We're getting pretty close. The burn sticks. It's fine. We're gonna retreat anyway. Oh man, this is cursed. Actually, we might still be short on damage now that I'm realizing it. We might still be short on damage. We might be 10 damage short. Actually, we should have maybe Rocky Helmeted this, but this Mimikyu's disguise is still active. Yeah, we are, aren't we? I think we are just like a little bit short on damage. I think we're 10 damage short. In fact, I think the 210 is gonna limit our ability to do anything here because we can attack him next turn, but that's only 90. So if we had Rocky Helmet on this Mimikyu, then we could have forced the win there, but that's unfortunate. I think we're just a little short, unfortunately for us. You hate to see it, actually. You really do. He only has 1 point. We could pivot with the... Oh, no, do we have it? No, we don't. I was going to say, because we could... No, we just don't, I don't think. Is there a way to win? Because we can't, we're stuck in the active, so we have to attach here to retreat. We could retreat into Greninja and then stall for a turn, but then that leaves us with not enough energies to attack with any of the other Pokemon. So I think, like, realistically, we are just stuck here. A 10 damage short on the Blaziken. If he didn't have Lily, it would have been fine. Yeah, I think it's just not enough. If we had Rocky Helmet on this Mimikyu, we could have forced the tie. If we retreat into Greninja here, that doesn't do anything for us, unfortunately. Even if we Broken Space Bellow with Giratina, we've just been behind like 1 energy the whole game. We were never able to get the attack off with Giratina. I guess I just did my math. I didn't really do the math. But if I went back and added up all of the numbers, I'm sure it probably would have been better to just sort of commit to Giratina and Broken Space Bellowed, potentially, is kind of my assumption. Because I didn't add up all the numbers, like 210 HP with Lily, so that's what, 270? We were just 10 damage short, which is hilarious. Yeah, whatever. I'm not thinking that far ahead in the matchup. So it is what it is. A very close game. Very, very close game. Our opponent popped off. He got the second Torchic, got the Rare Candy Blaziken Lily combo with Flame Patch to attack that turn. He drew in everything he needed to. So you got to give him credit there. Just 10 damage short. That's an unfortunate bit of mathematics there. Again, we could have Rocky Helmeted the other Mimikyu, forced the tie, technically, if we had the foresight for that, which I don't know who would have. But also, again, if I had just done the numbers, like if I knew we would end on 10, I think we probably should have also just committed to Broken Space Bellowing on the Giratina, and then not put as much pressure on that active Torchic early on. That's also something that could have possibly benefited in our favor. Because I don't know if the damage on the Torchic really mattered. Anyway, you never know. It is what it is. Shout out to this deck list. I love it. Go ahead and play it. Mimikyu EX is absolutely broken. It's a really, really, really good card, and I think it's got a great matchup into a bunch of different stuff. Just inherently, I think Mimikyu with Rocky Helmets, with Greninjas, with Cyruses, it buys a lot more time in the game than you might think. And the more time you have, you know, where you don't get KO'd is just another turn that you get to draw into, you know, Cyrus and Greninja as win conditions, which I think is the real strength of this deck list. Might need to be refined a little bit. If Numatanali watches this video, comment down below what would you change about the deck list, and what would you guys change if you're watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to register for PMPT number 19. A link to register down in the description below. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Peace out. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. And yeah. Bye.